In London, Britain's biggest entrepreneur hopes 97 could be the Broncos' year. Well, a few moments ago, the first action of this evening here at the Stoop. The two captains joined referee Russell Smith to toss the coin. Terry Mattison tossing the coin. Chris Joint of St Helens has won the toss. The word is that the Broncos will run as we watch from right to left. On this, one of the biggest nights in London's history. Richard Branson on the right of your screen is here, along with Jonathan Coleman from Virgin Radio. And the WBO World Super Middleweight Champion, Steve Collins, is here. It's a glittering night, and he's talking to, well, Sean Edwards of Wigan. This is Jason Orange, formerly of the group Take That. And Stefan Edberg, former Wimbledon champion, is here as well. All the stars have come out tonight to see the London Broncos. And a good crowd too at the Stoop. As I say, they are anxious to make their mark here. London have issued invitations to many of the biggest names in the capital. And there is pre-match entertainment as well from the London Crown Jewels, as they are now called, the Broncos cheerleader troupe. And St Helens, the champions, wait to start the defence of their Super League crown that they won last year. Full-back is Steve Prescott. On the wing, Danny Arnold and Anthony Sullivan. In the centre, Alan Hunt and Paul Newlove. The standoff, Tommy Martin. And what a test for the young scrum half. Lee Briers is the half-back in place of suspended Bobby Goulding. Props, Perellini and O'Neill. Hooker is Kieran Cunningham. Second rowers, Chris Joint, who's the captain, and Chris Morley. And the loose forward is Carl Hammond. On the bench, Matautia, Northey, Anderson and Pickavance. The coach of the year, Sean McRae. London Broncos emerge for what is an important night for them. Massive publicity here in the capital surrounding this match, and desperate to get a win. Their side, fullback Tony Martin. On the wings, Scott Roskell and Martin O'Fire. The centres, Paul Smith and Greg Barwick. Standoff is Tolson Tullett. The halfback, Josh White, one of the new boys. Prop forwards, Tony Mestrov and Russell Borden. It's Robbie Beasley at hooker. The second rowers, Steve Rosalind and Peter Gill. And the loose forward is their captain, Terry Mattison. On the bench, Krause, Maguire, Dunford and Best. Their coach is Tony Curry. Match referee here at the Stoop tonight is Russell Smith, one of the top, if not the top official in the game. And the Broncos come into this match knowing that they have never beaten St Helens in 10 previous attempts in league or cup football. It is a perfect night for them to get off the mark against the champions, who begin the defence with us live here on Sky Sports. We're underway at the Stoop. Broncos kick off. First touch though for the St Helens side, the team of champions, and one of the cream of the champions, Paul Newlove. But that's a great chase by the Broncos for that first tackle.
They've shown that they mean business. These will be nervous times for the champion St Helens. They'll take their time, not do anything fancy, I'm sure. I'm sure their coach, Sean McRae, has said just work your way into this game. So much is expected from both these sides this season.
Great tackle on Chris Joint. Tremendous tackle, and the tackling led by Russell Borden. St Helens in possession still. This is the last tackle in the first set of 6 here at the Stoop in Super League 2. The kick from Tommy Martin downfield. Good kick too, into space. Young Tony Martin, the full-back of the Broncos, scuttles across and picks it up. Makes it to the 20-metre line before the chase arrives. And it's Lee Briers who made the chase.
Beautiful kick and chase there. That really would have steadied the nerves of the kicker tonight. Tommy Martin, of course, the Saints without the suspended Bobby Goulding. So the kicking game will be important.
Magnificent tackle from Alan Hunt on Greg Barwick. Tolson Tullett was the dummy half, and he finds Steve Rosalind. Perellini in there quickly. They made 29 metres in the first 3 of this set. That's a little half break from Russell Borden. They're now over the halfway line, the Broncos, with Mattison. Mattison gets the ball away to Gill. Gill back to his scrum half, Josh White. and he is eventually buried by Joint in the tackle. Tommy Martin getting him round the ankles. Kick to the corner, turned St Helens round. Breers picks up, tips it inside to Steve Prescott, and Prescott is collared by Peter Gill.
Good work by the little half-back there, Breers. He had the full-back up with him. And they've got to be offside. Well spotted by Russell Smith.
Broncos caught offside. Too eager.
Not surprising. You can see there are quite a few to pick from, especially the skipper, Terry Matheson. But they want to get in very quickly, get in amongst them, really get in the face of the St Helens side.
That might be a mistake from Tommy Martin. It wasn't in the end. Tony Martin was underneath it. He thought that that ball wasn't going to find touch, but Martin did. Breers gets the pass away to Martin. This now is the new boy in the St Helens side, Julian O'Neill, the Kiwi prop forward from the Auckland Warriors. Only one new face in the St Helens team. There's an old face, Paul Newlove, one of the brightest stars of Super League last year, and intent on being a bright star in '97. Lovely ball then to Hunt, fed by Hammond. Over the top it goes to Danny Arnold. Arnold tips the ball back inside to Hammond again. Still there was Arnold to maintain the interest in that attack. 3 tackles gone, they're right on the line. They've made 40 metres. Breers spins the ball into the arms of Martin. He tries to go round Peter Gill. That's great defence.
It had to be as well. It was try time. They had the overlap out wide, and Gill saved the day.
Kieran Cunningham picks himself up, the referee's whistle goes. Penalty to St Helens. They reached the ball from him in more than a one-man tackle. Penalty to St Helens.
Well, a silly move by the halfback Josh White in this position. It would have left a situation where the Saints would have to opt for the kick. And there you see the little halfback with more than one man in attendance. You can do it man on man, but when there's more than one would-be tackler there, well, that is a foolish penalty to give away. You may feel that perhaps it's better to have given 2 points rather than the possible 6.
Well, it was intense St Helens pressure, and here is a big moment for young Lee Breers. 19 years old, debut against Hull in the Cup. He scored a try and 5 goals in that match. That, though, was against First Division opposition. This is slightly different. This is Super League, and this is Breers' first kick amongst the big boys. Taking over the scrum half role from Bobby Goulding and the kicking duties as well. And he's a confident young man. Lee Breers, 19, taking over the Goulding mantle. And look at him talking to the more experienced players that he has around him.
Settled in well, hasn't he, the youngster? 19 years of age. He lacks nothing in confidence, I can assure you. And you could see the casual way that he just popped that ball over the sticks for a vital 2 points.
So Tommy Martin restarts. Underneath it, Martin Afire, who has brushed with St Helens many times during his career with Wigan. The Broncos with the opportunity now to run that ball out. A vital night for them, as we say. They finished 4th last year. They made it to the Premiership playoffs for the first time in their history, with men like Richard Branson on board now, men who are used only to success. The London Broncos are desperate to do even better in Super League 2. That's a penalty. Swinging arm.
See the swing there. Second rower Chris Morley made contact as well. Well, that's a silly penalty. All that pressure that they applied to the Broncos.
And that's a silly kick as well.
What a mistake.
They didn't find touch. Arnold kicked it back inside. This is Alan Hunt. That's a schoolboy error, and Tony Curry will not be happy.
Elementary mistakes like that they can do without.
And here's the flyer, the Welsh flyer, Anthony Sullivan down that wing. Martin's after him. Oh, brilliant Sullivan! What a try! What pace from Anthony Sullivan! He skimmed the Broncos' defence out wide. Well, Anthony Sullivan ended 96 in breathtaking form, and he's begun 97 in similar fashion.
Well, put this down to the bad mistake of not kicking the ball over the touchline. Beautiful quick hands out wide, and Newlove served the flyer. You see how Sullivan went in and out. That was just enough to make the fullback Tony Martin hesitate. The handoff was superb. This is a mistake. It was wonderful play there. and he got the ball back on the inside before the foot went over the line. The linking qualities of St. Helens has been superb. And look at that. That is sheer pace. Beautiful handoff. He had quite a good season last year, and it looks like Sullivan is ready to burst on Super League 97 with a big, big bang. He looks fit, he looks confident. What a great try.
Anthony Sullivan loves this ground. The last time St. Helens played here in 1995, Sullivan ran in a hat-trick. Breers with the conversion attempt, hits the post. He was inches away from adding the extras, but the champions off to a flying start in the defence of their trophy. They lead here now by 6 points to 0.
What a tremendous linking quality there from St. Helens. A bad mistake by the Broncos. They should have been applying the pressure. And as we saw on Friday night, it was the Bradford Bulls who were trying the short kickoff. Obviously, it's going to be the vogue this season. And it nearly caught the Broncos on the hop. They'll have their head and feed. Well, it just goes to show, Eddie, that the coaches this year, and there's one of them, Tony Kerry, who will not be impressed with the way that they did not find touch. It just goes to show that the coaches are going to be looking for different ideas to try to gain possession.
Untidy round the play the ball, and Russell Smith stamping on St. Helens with that penalty.
And about time too, we saw on Friday night that it was extremely messy in and around the play the ball area. At least tonight, Russell Smith will have none of that, and that means we can get an open game.
Sean McRae watching on, the St. Helens coach, last year's coach of the year. A team that won the double league and cup for the first time in 30 years, and of course on course to get back to Wembley. But this is about Super League, and it's Tulson Tollett, and that's good defence from Prescott. Tollett with a good run. London Broncos on the charge with their captain Mattison. Russell Borden brings it back inside. Mattison is still there. Mattison, the captain, leads by example. Good ball to Barwick. Barwick bounces off one, bounces off two. Can't get away from Arnold. Referee has pinged St. Helens for offside. Penalty to the Broncos.
He allowed the advantage there. The winger Danny Arnold coming through very quickly. He was offside well and truly. A good refereeing by Russell Smith. But what a great break by Tulson Tollett. There you see the run around. They made a little bit of a mistake there. Borden really should have come a little bit later and come back at the angle. But it was a neat pass by Mattison. And Greg Barwick, he looks fit. And the winger Arnold was well and truly offside for all that play.
Well, he could have had a choice of 6 or 7 players. They moved up far too quickly, St. Helens. It offers Greg Barwick this opportunity to get the Broncos points ticking over. And Barwick does not miss opportunities like that. So London Broncos 2, St. Helens 6. And the Broncos will need that. They'll need it to steady the ship. Richard Branson, the new man involved with London Broncos, watching on, and his young son alongside him, and significantly wearing a London Broncos jersey. Looks like he's enjoying the occasion too, and enjoying being featured by our cameras. Star-studded night at the Stoop. We even have Steve-O here, and the stars shine not much brighter than him.
You are in a complimentary mood, eh?
Well, I feel charitable. It's only the first weekend of the new season.
Yes, there's time, but this time for the big fella. What a wonderful strength there by Parolini. He's so hard to pull down.
Just handed the ball on to Cunningham. Cunningham then takes the tackle. This is Hammond. Oh, mistake. Mistake by Chris Morley, the Welsh international.
Took his eyes off the football. He could see that the defence had moved up quickly.
And that's the initial tackle after that fumble. So that's the first one. The tackle that came in on the player in possession is now counted as the 0 tackle this year. Here's Mestrov, the prop forward. Man who made tremendous yards during Super League 96. His battle with Apollo Perolini could be crucial to the outcome. Josh White disappears under the challenge from Chris Joint.
Broncos finding it very difficult to get through the strong defence. You can see that Saints are moving up quickly out wide. They're only allowing down the middle of the pitch for the Broncos to move.
This is the last tackle. Matheson will put the boot to ball, looking for a fire. A fire gets the try. And a fire picks up his first try in Super League 97, and that is what they brought into London for. Beautiful kick by Matheson. Great try of fire.
No way to go out wide with the pass, but there's always the option of the kick, and the experience there of Terry Matheson. Well spotted though by Martin O'Fire. It's a planned move. How many times have we seen Martin O'Fire be on the end of a superb kick like this throughout his career? It was inch perfect. The timing was good. You can see that the fullback Prescott was just a little bit slow to get across. He was caught. O'Fire in for a wonderful try. Prescott desperate to try to get into the corner, but he knows it's far too late. The Broncos are back.
Martin O'Fire, just 4 games for London last year, and he needs just one more hat-trick, by the way, for 50 in Rugby Football League. 6 times the game's top scorer. He's levelled the scores here with that neat piece of opportunism. And Greg Barwick will no doubt see himself on the huge screen that will be following us around during the course of Super League 2 to all the grounds, as they did last year. One of the big features now of Super League, the live pitches inside the stadium. And he's just missed with the conversion attempt, Barwick, but it's 6-all.
Beautiful move. You can see the man circle Steve Prescott, probably expecting the bomb, but it was a kick out wide from Matheson, which was absolutely superb. Inch perfect. A fire in. Tremendous understanding between the two players. Plenty of experience, a fire, and of course Terry Matheson, a great star over in Australia for many, many years.
And the crowd at the Stoop thrilled to that. The run from the fire was timed to absolute perfection. So 6 points all, 14 minutes gone. The champions knew, I think, that this was going to be one of their sternest tests. Opening match of the new campaign. And the London Broncos have been training in the tropical heat of Queensland throughout the winter. They were desperately disappointed, I know, to lose to the Bradford Bulls in the Challenge Cup 3 weeks ago. But Tony Curry, their coach, says they are better prepared for this than they were for that match. And what's more, he says, they're at full strength.
Well, as you mentioned, Eddie, he was far from impressed by the effort against Bradford in the Challenge Cup. But they have worked very, very hard. He said that they are really on top form for this one. It would have done them the world of good to score that try. There's nothing worse than making silly elementary mistakes to eat away at your confidence. But they've gone up a step now.
That's another tremendous run from Tony Mestrov. He made some yards in Super League 2. The best go forward in the competition last time out. And he started this match in similar mood. Here's Peter Gill. Peter Gill, short pass. Maybe it was a bit too short for Russell Borden because it was a big collision just off the ball. Last tackle, though, they've made 54 metres, the Broncos. Josh White gets away from the challenge, gets the kick in, and that's a good kick too. Finds touch on that far side. Josh White
did well. You could see that he came from the open to the blind side, relieved himself from any chance of any man applying the pressure to him. And that's important tonight as well for the Broncos. They've got to keep turning the fullback Steve Prescott around. He's a good attacking player, is Prescott. They cannot afford to kick the ball right down his throat. They've got to keep him on the back foot all the game.
It's the St Helens try scorer, Anthony Sullivan, who plays the ball. Tommy Martin then brings Alan Hunt into the play. Tackled by Russell Borden. Good defence so far from the Broncos. That's 3 tackles gone. Only 12 metres made. Kieran Cunningham, the dummy half. Great Britain international hooker. Apollo Perolini, the huge Western Samoan. Good tackling again.
He caught a big hit from Terry Madison. It was legal as well, around the shoulder.
Carl Hammond tried to get the ball over the top to his winger Danny Arnold. Couldn't do so under pressure. Martin will drill the ball towards the corner flag, and he takes the territory now.
Split the winger and the full-back. Intelligent thinking there. Good kick by Tommy Martin. A lot of people felt perhaps that the Saints would really miss the kicking skills of Bobby Goulding, but so far tonight Martin has stepped in and been excellent.
3 magnificent matches between these two sides in 1996. St Helens won them all, but narrowly in Super League, and then in the Premiership semi-final they won a classic match at Knowsley Road. But they were 3 excellent games, Steve-O.
Well, the Saints players have made it known that they're quite happy to get this game out of the way, the first game of the season, so at least we don't have to go down to London anymore.
They might hope to come down to London once more before the season's too much older for the final.
They won't be playing at the Stoop, though.
You're right. Great run. Nice run from Robbie Beasley, the hooker, and he went down as he tried to play that ball. Referee has a little look at his touch judge and gives the penalty to the Broncos for interference at the play of the ball. The players now, once they've made the tackle, they must stand away from the tackle play. You can't be doing this. You can't have hands-on players now as they try and regather their feet.
Not allowed to do that. The skipper, Chris Joynt, should have known that as well. It was a good intelligent run there by the hooker. Robbie Beasley, and was Chris Joynt, the man who gave away the silly penalty. Last time we saw the Broncos, Eddie, we were a little bit critical of the performance of the hooker, Robbie Beasley, for not running from dummy half. And that's what the Broncos need, and we saw there that he made good yards.
This is Tolson Tollett. The ball went backwards. The referee says play on. Two tackles gone. Tony Mestrov again. Always eager for the work. Morley, though, Perolini and Carl Hammond in there quickly to pull him down. Beasley sweeps the ball into the arms of White. This is Mattison. Mattison, lovely half break. Support arrives from Gill. It's a try. Peter Gill will score the second London Broncos try. And the champions are on the back foot here. Peter Gill with a try. Tony Curry, not a blemish of any sort of emotion on that face, but plenty of emotion on the terraces. The Broncos are ahead.
He may not show any emotion, but I can assure you Tony Curry will be happy with this. Beautiful work by Madison. He threw the dummy. It was taken by 2 Saints defenders, and a man who loves nothing better than support the ball carrier. A man who had a great season last year, Peter Gill. Notice how Madison will use the skill, move his body across. They took it quite simply. Julian O'Neill, he took the dummy enormously. Gill, what a fight back from the Broncos. The crowd are going wild, and why not? That was a superbly taken try.
Peter Gill's try. Greg Barwick with the conversion from bang in front, and Barwick doesn't miss those. And London Broncos are ahead by 12 points to 6 against the champions.
There you see 2 men come through, but you don't take the dummy in this position. You take your man. Whoa, see you later. Julian O'Neill was grasping thin air while this man was well and truly on his way. Well worked, the experience showing there of Terry Madison.
Peter Gill, 7 tries last year, 2 in his last Super League appearance, the 56-0 defeat of Castleford down at the Valley. So, midway through this first half, and if St Helens didn't know before they got off the bus here this afternoon that they were in for a match, they know now. Borden has gone off to be replaced by Matt Dunford, the former Manly prop forward, and much is expected of Dunford to work alongside Mestrov in the front row for the Broncos this year.
Well, I just get the impression, Eddie, that perhaps Saints, with scoring so early in the game, they felt a little bit too overconfident, because they've gone off the boil and really have to roll the sleeves up and get back into scheme of things. That's a good kick. That'll settle things down. Tommy Martin knows that they've got to get back into their game plan. We spoke about Robbie Beasley not running from the dummy half. We've only seen one run from the man who absolutely split the opposition defence last season, Kieran Cunningham.
Tommy Martin has taken over the goal kicking, the kicks in general play rather, from Bobby Goulding. So he's made 4 raking kicks already. Most of them, though, Steve-O, have been touch finders. And in the modern day, the coaches do like their players to keep the ball in the field of play, if possible, and force the defending side to run the ball back out at them, so as maybe they can force the mistake.
On many occasions, yes, I'd have to agree with you, Eddie, but I think with the introduction now of that extra tackle, the zero tackle, where you can actually pass the ball, the man who picks the ball up doesn't have to keep going on his own. You can make it into a team effort. So I think a lot of coaches are realizing now, let's take the scrum, then we can set up our defense solid.
Well, nothing much to choose between the two sides in terms of possession. St Helens just fractionally ahead, but on the scoreboard where it counts, the Broncos have the lead by 6 points. This is Josh White. He pumps the ball downfield, and this will be one that Prescott will have to run out, although he's allowing it to run touching goal, and that really does emphasize what you've just been saying.
It was a neat kick, but the chase was just a little bit too slow there. A bit long, that Steve Prescott was quite happy that that rolled dead in goal.
Well, it means they get 20 easy metres, doesn't it? Because the tap on their own 20-metre line, and that's where they are now. Actually, they're 30 metres from their own line. St Helens. Perolini.
What's been missing from the St Helens play over the last 10 minutes is the strength in the forwards. They really have got to start taking it up like that. We've got to make the bust, draw in the defence. That's better from the hooker, Cunningham. That was pretty high, though.
Referee had a look at it.
Steve Roslin going over the top.
Last tackle. Martin dabs it down this time. Tony Martin will have to run the ball back. Oh, that's great running from Tommy Martin.
There's a swinging arm from Rosalind. Looked pretty high to me. Referee Russell Smith wouldn't have anything of it.
Good 16 metres gained, though, by that first tackle. What a crunch from Alan Hunt on Greg Barwick, and Barwick felt that.
Did he ever? The only problem is that Hunt has stayed around, perhaps to admire the tackle. He took a long time to get back into the one line of defence because the Broncos played the ball extremely quickly.
Now Dunford with the drive downfield. Tony Martin was hunting the opportunity on his inside. He held on. Beasley into the arms of White. Tollett dabs it through. A race on here. Bravery from Steve Prescott. The boots and the fur was flying out there, and Prescott did well.
Well-weighted kick there from Tollett. Prescott had to come to the rescue. They're gaining in confidence, but we spoke about the heavy work in the forwards. It's the Broncos that are making headway. Their big forwards are really coming onto this ball with a lot of vim and vigour.
Prescott took the ball out of the field of play. It's the Broncos with head and feed. Tollett, he gets the pass away to Paul Smith, formerly with Eastern Suburbs and Penrith in Australia. Smith. It now is Steve Rosalind on his 149th appearance for the London Broncos. He's had some service in the capital. Matheson now, the man who engineered that try, the last try that they scored.
Madison was looking for the inside runner. He failed to come, but this is the strength of the forwards.
Mestrov with that run. They are the St Helens posts. That was Josh White. This is Peter Gill. Good defence, though, from St Helens.
He lost the ball. Little knock-on from the big second rower, Peter Gill. And again, that's the second occasion. You can see Peter Gill saying there was no one coming. The runners have not been there on the last two play the balls. It was a big hit from Chris Joint. Crunch time, and as soon as it hits the ground, it just loses it.
Saints head and feed then now. They'll be hoping to work this ball away from their own line. They've been under pressure for a while. Just two handling errors, one apiece. Nowhere for Alan Hunt to go. Tremendous tackling from both these sides, and the pace is so frantic. something I think that we will see throughout Super League this year, as the players have honed their skills during the off-season. They've had 5 months to prepare for this.
Oh, tremendous defence there. Tony Mestrov going high, not allowing Perellini any chance to remove the ball away and pass it.
It was a lovely ball from Briers into the arms of Joint. He just couldn't escape the second tackler in. Here's Tommy Martin again. And once more, Martin drills the ball looking for that touch, and he finds it.
There you see the value of it going into touch, because he didn't want to let the elusive Tony Martin, the London Broncos fullback, have any chance to have that zero tackle, the chance to bring it back upfield. What a talent. What a season he had last year.
Yes, 9 consecutive appearances at the end of 1996. Outstanding in the academy, and given his chance by Tony Curry against Sheffield Eagles last year, he never looked back. The big question for Tony Martin is, can he keep it up? They've lost the ball, Broncos. This is Carl Hammond. Here's a golden opportunity for St Helens. The ball has come free. Ofaya's got it. And it's a knock-on.
Good strength there from Newlove, but golden opportunity by the Saints, just squandered. Well, mistakes are plenty here. Referee Russell Smith was looking to see whether Tommy Martin had actually put the ball carrying arm to the ground. There's a mistake from Hammond. It was a good tackle as well.
So the scrum goes down, and the Broncos breathe a big sigh of relief. And they breathe an even bigger sigh now, because St Helens offside.
Skipper Terry Mattison wants to get on with the game.
Not the best kick, though.
Well, he realised that from that mistake then came the St Helens try. So Mattison wanted to do it while the Saints players were running backwards.
Tollett does well. Support the rise from Rosalind. 5-2, London ahead on the penalty count, ahead on the scoreboard too. This is Mestrov, over the halfway line from Tony Mestrov. Only knows one way, that's forward, and straight down the middle from the big prop forward for the Broncos. Dunford.
Oh, this is good no-nonsense football by the Broncos, using the hard, big forwards down the middle, and then using the skills of Mattison. Watch for the link now, or perhaps the angle run.
This is the last tackle, Josh White into the arms of Roslin. This is Greg Barwick. Barwick saw a gap and went for it. Ofaya was waiting for the pass on the inside. It never came. He was all wrapped up. That's the turnover. Broncos caught in possession on the last tackle, and St Helens picked the ball up and play it, and off we go again with Danny Arnold.
Good option by the Broncos there, running the power play. Most teams normally use the kick, but they're so confident. They'd taken it out to the right-hand side. They thought the link was coming. It did, but Saints defence held.
Chris Joint plays the ball. Cunningham into the arms of Lee Briers. He then finds Apollo Perellini. And they've watched Perellini like a hawk. They remember that video ref decision at the Valley last year that in the end cost the Broncos the match. Half an hour gone, 10 minutes to half-time. The Broncos ahead, 12 points to 6. Martin again drills that ball for touch.
Understand what's going through Tommy Martin's mind now. He knows his side is slowly and surely getting back into the swing of things, but he also realises that the St Helens pack are not making the valuable ground. He'll be happy, or he should be anyway, London coach Tony Curry, because he knows that the defence is good. There's always one going down, and there's another one coming in and smothering any chance of the Saints forwards releasing the football.
Scrum is fed by Josh White, and then Tulson Tollett. Tollett certainly will have had no harm done to him by being named on the British Lions tour to New Zealand during the winter. That's a lovely ball from Gill. Further out wide it goes to Roskill, and Roskill is taking on Prescott, and Prescott did well. Great break from the Broncos, great tackle from Prescott, a try-saver.
Oh, they bombed it. A forward pass, what a mistake. The referee's missed it.
Play on.
How on earth has he missed that? It must have been 2 yards forward. And
I think Russell Smith has just had a little looked to his touch judge, and the touch judge has told him the pass was forward.
Well, what a mess up here. Paul Smith overran the pass. Gill decided to release it. But this man, Scott Roskell, he did a great run, but he should have looked from the inside. He was sizing the fullback Prescott. He should have passed on the inside. There was at least 2 players in support. That is a chance gone begging. Not only that, Saints in possession.
8 minutes to go to half-time, and remember that during the course of this match, as on Friday, you can have your view on the man of the match. That's the number to ring, and we'll tell you during the second half when you can ring in and vote. You can also win if you come out with the name of the man of the match and your name comes out of the hat. You can also win a mini television set, the same as the man of the match himself will pick up.
Put it down this forward.
So Martin now with a huge midfield bomb. Young Tony Martin's underneath it. And Lee Breers was sniffing the opportunity, but the referee will bring them back for the knock-on.
Well, mistakes are plenty there. And just a little knock-on. He went high. Little half-back Lee Breers just couldn't pull it in. Well, chance has gone begging from both sides. He started off well to the youngster, but he knows he really is in a game tonight.
Oh, that's a slack pass from Afire, and it's come back to Hammond, and Hammond's going to make them pay here with a try. What an awful error from Martin Afire. He holds his head in his hands, and no wonder. He tipped the ball back to nobody. Tony Martin couldn't get back. The first to react was Carl Hammond, and Hammond's come up with the try. And that's a gift for the champions.
Just what the doctor didn't order just before half-time. Why on earth did Martin Afire, within his own quarter, release the football? That is the question that their coach, Tony Curry, will be asking at half-time. It was a suicidal pass. There was no chance for Tony Martin to get to that. Hammond was quick. Hammond had the speed. And Saints will be a relieved champion side. It is a gift. Look in the background. Martin Afire, hands on head, saying, what on earth have I done?
He knows he's come up with a big blunder. And Carl Hammond has scored in all 4 of St Helens matches this season now. 3 in the Cup and this on the first of Super League. Tony Curry, the London coach, will not be impressed with that. This now is Lee Breers again, with the opportunity to add 2 more. Just pulled it in front of the post this time. 12 points to 10, London ahead. But Tony Curry and Martin Afire know it could be so different.
Well, they'll go back to that situation. This is a mistake again where it allowed Hammond in for a vital try for Saints, but they'll be ruining the fact that they should have been down the other end.
Bobby Goulding alongside Sean McRae there. They know that that's a little escape.
Well, it's a bonus, isn't it, that they did not expect, because when Roskell took play right the way down into the Saints quarter, and then when Gill gave that forward pass, it allowed Saints vital possession. Well, our game can change in just one movement, one mistake.
Well, hero and villain Martin Afire in this opening half. Great try, but a suicidal pass.
The sad part about it is that for 35 minutes, and 30 of those 35, London have been so superior. Their defence has been so good, and yet they are still only 2 points in front.
Good kick. Downfield, another touch finder, this time from Josh White.
Well, I know we keep mentioning it, but they really are, both sides, making sure that that 0 tackle is not coming into effect. Also gives them a chance to have a bit of a breather. Well, they really should have been controlling this game and looking towards the half-time break with a convincing lead. There'll be a few words said by the St Helens coach, Sean McRae. He will not be happy with this.
Oh, Alan Hunt has burst through. Alan Hunt takes on Tony Martin out wide, and Hunt's got legs. Afire's after him. Afire's giving it up, and Hunt will nothing for Alan Hunt. Picked up the ball, burst through the tackle in his own quarter, and ran 3/4 of the length of the field to score a quite breathtaking try.
Well, I certainly know how to put the mocker on a side. I said that their defence was superb for 35 minutes, and then they come up with something like this. You can see how the defence was slow to come across. They really were slow to set up, and they know it. They were caught. But look at the speed of Alan Hunt. Martin Afire, nor the fullback Tony Martin could get anywhere near. All that hard work in the off-season obviously paying off. But you can see that the Broncos were slow to fill in on the blind side. The loose forward, Terry Madison, was slow to get in there. This man took full advantage. The determination etched on Alan Hunt's face. Well, what a turnaround. The Broncos have controlled nearly all this first half, and they will go in at half-time leading.
Lee Breers now bang in front, will surely add 2 more points to this. And another 2 onto the St Helens scoreboard. And incredible, 2 tries in 4 minutes means Saints lead now 16-12.
This is all about getting into your position quick, and he didn't. See how these 3 of them just passed, and Madison went just a yard too far wide. It was enough for Alan Hunt to race through.
The 1996 British Lion, Alan Hunt, unlucky 13 in 1996, and that's his 4th try of this current campaign already. And he looks really fit, really sharp, and there he is now, Alan Hunt, doing the tackling. Well, incredible the way a match can just turn on one incident, and it has certainly turned against the Broncos after they gifted the try. And then, well, they didn't have much that they could do about the run from Alan Hunt, could they? It was a tremendous run from one end of the field to the other. 1 minute to go to half-time. Matheson gets away from the tackle of O'Neill. But Tolland couldn't get away from Tommy Martin. Josh White pumps the ball over the top again. Looks to find touch near the corner flag and does. And now he will hope that the mistake comes from the resulting scrum in the last minute of this first half.
Another good kick by the halfback, but they must be absolutely devastated, the Broncos. They know that they have controlled this first half. And look at the scoreline, 16-12. Well, he's not a placid man, with the Broncos coach, Tony Curry. He has quite a bit of venom, and I think there'll be plenty of words said at the half-time break in the changing room.
Yes, the paint will probably come off the wall, I think, because they had the game in their pockets, didn't they? And 2 tries in 4 minutes have turned it round. We're in stoppage time. We're not at all. The half-time siren sounds bang on the 40 minutes, and Martin Afire will reflect on this first half, and I think he is on his way to some harsh words from Tony Curry. But Afire is an experienced player. He knows exactly what the situation is. Peter Gill with the 2nd Broncos try, but you have to credit the champions. They have bounced back, and Alan Hunt's try lit up the Stoop just before the half-time siren. What a try. Look at the determination on the fence. And Saints lead 16-12. We hear from Richard Brunson and Jono next.
The new face,
I'm going to be big,
Joe Calzaghe,
real big.
is stepping into the ring to fight the USA's Tyler Hughes in a super middleweight contest to prove his punch will take him to the top.
This is my time.
Plus, the rising star Michael Brodie takes on Neil Swain in the biggest fight of his career for the vacant British super bantamweight crown. Ringside Boxing, next Saturday at 8, live on Sky Sports 1.
You smell that? Let's roll.
Hey, you just can't resist the tempting aroma of KFC.
You smell something? No.
The Royal Bank of Scotland Gold Visa card has no annual fee, an interest rate of 17.9% APR, and an even lower APR of just 13.3% for the first year. If you're over 21 and earn £20,000, it couldn't be easier to sign up. Call now on 0800 171 172.
I was about 6, 7 years old. Everyone I knew was into it. It wasn't just me. I had no idea the effect it would have. Friends, girlfriends, missing dates. I was always out. Started getting right into it. Non-stop, all the time. Changed my life in one way, I suppose. Just total adrenaline. I'd be devastated if I missed the game.
Football Mania Plus and Score for series football fans. Free in the Mirror every Monday.
When is St. Patrick's Day?
I don't know.
Monday, March the 17th.
When will you be celebrating?
Monday, Friday, Tuesday, Saturday.
If there's Guinness tonight.
Of course, now, yes. Dead right.
Glory, hallelujah, just hold the parson. I'll get ready to call.
Join us for the World of Super League on Wednesday at 8 o'clock on Sky Sports 1. That's a change to the time that you will find in your local listings. 8 o'clock on Wednesday night, the usual time for the World of Super League on Sky Sports 1. But right now, we have quite a match going on, don't we? London Broncos against St Helens, the league champions, the Super League champions of 1996. And they are weeping and gnashing teeth here in the studio, because that's the half-time situation. London 12, St Helens 16. Afire and Gill with the London tries, Barwick with the 2 goals, Sullivan, Hammond and Hunt, Lee Breers with the 2 goals for the Saints. 16-12, the champions lead. But it could have been so different, couldn't it? And the reason why we have the wailing and gnashing of teeth in the studio is that the Broncos' #1 fan, Jono, is with us, but his boss is here, and that's why he's on his very best behaviour, Richard Branson. Great to see.
They did good, didn't they? I thought they weren't going to be the underdogs anymore. I mean,
No. Still another half to go. It's a game of 2 halves. You've got to let the ball do the work. It's mate against mate, state against state. It's going to be all right. But I can't believe it. I mean, 1 minute Martin Afire is the big hero, and then the next minute I'm saying to Richard, that's the guy that scored the try earlier on. He's okay. So they have. I just
remember they took him off the stand.
We were there cheering, and then the minute we came over here, things started going a bit bad.
It's like your wallet, Jono. You never pass. You keep hold of that wallet. That's what that ball is, and it was an awful mistake.
What happened? Was there someone from St Helens yelling out, "Martin, over here"?
Well, of course, they do know Martin Afire. They know him very well, the St Helens players, of course, from his Wigan days. But Richard, you must be impressed with what you've seen, I'm sure, in the opening half here. I know you were here for the Bulls when they lost then, but we won't talk about that. We'll talk about what's happening today.
In a sense, we got involved because the Broncos are the underdogs. It's a northern game, and we thought that we could maybe try to bring the game to the south, get people down south excited by it.
Bit of a challenge.
A bit of a challenge, which we enjoy. So I'm just sitting here learning about it, and it's been fantastically exciting. I mean, the first 40 minutes, I thought, that all the training, everything had come good. They blew it in 5 minutes, but there's still another half. So,
well, 2 tries in 4 minutes turned the course of the game, didn't they? And
sure.
we noticed you during the first half. You had a big smile on your face. I think it was your son alongside you, had a big smile on his face. I mean, you genuinely have an affection for this game.
Yeah, it's a very, very addictive game. I mean, like, in Australia it is the game, and in England it's not yet. But I think anybody who was here tonight.
In certain parts of England, of course, it is
addictive,
the game.
right? Well, and in the north, of course, but. it will be, you know, well, today's a great example of how it can swing.
You know, there's a lot of people out there, and whatever team you go for, I think the great thing about Super League is that it gets people involved. Whether you're an Australian, whether you're a Brit, whether you're Irish, French, anywhere, you get sort of caught up in the excitement. And hopefully in the second half there'll be some more excitement for us.
Well, I think there might be, because Steve-O, this London Broncos side, until the crazy 4 minutes at the end of that first half, they were playing well.
Well, the amazing part about it is that they had full control of this game, apart from the first 5 minutes when St Helens went in for a superb try. But it all came about when Scott Roskell made that wonderful run right down on the right-hand side. He had men on the inside, decided to take him on and go out wide, and then from that would result in mistake. And then they got the possession, and then, lo and behold, what happens? Martin Fire, as a rush of blood, makes this huge mistake, and then they get back into the game. It really was, I don't know what was going through the man's mind, because you've always tell your players you never pass under pressure like that. Full credit to Hammond, he picked it up, off he races into it, and at once in this first half, St Helens decided, we're back in this game. And again, let's just move up for this situation where they're playing the ball. Just hold it there. Now you can see, look at these three Bronco players. This is Hunt. He's going to come right the way through here. Now this is what we call a slow makeup. Instead of shifting out and shifting wide, you've had three players running round each other, and you can see Matheson has just gone 1 yard too far, and it's enough. He only had a half-hearted attempt on Alan Hunt. But the thing that also impressed me, look at the speed of Hunt there. Martin Fire is making no ground on him, neither is the fullback Martin. Alan Hunt certainly has been doing some training in the off-season. Tremendous run and a tremendous first half.
I think, Richard, you will be impressed by the athleticism of these players, because they're so strong, they're so brave, so committed to the cause, aren't they?
Oh, it's incredible. In fact, we've got a lot of our Virgin hostesses who'd like to meet them after.
Yes, maybe give them a few massages. They may have to, I think, after the game.
Is that right? Well, could be trouble, Steve-O.
Well, I'm available. No, Steve-O, you can't do the massages. There's actually people. I don't know.
Well, I would have thought they would have all wanted to see you, Jono.
She's got a little baby girl.
This is for my little daughter, Emily Jane, and she's the smallest, the tiniest Broncos supporter, so I hope that this will bring us a bit more luck than we did have in the first half, and I hope Martin Fire's watching, because he's probably enjoying a bit of half-time comfort at the moment.
What you know Tony Curry, of course, Richard, as well as all of us. What do you think he's saying to them at half-time? Do you think he'll be giving them the round of the kitchen?
I think if I was him, I'd say you did great. I mean, 5 minutes. You know, but I mean, if they could have another 45 minutes as well as they did the first 40 minutes, they've got a chance of winning. But and they're playing what I believe is, you know, one of the best teams there. So, you know, if they could still create an upset, I think.
Well, if you can compete with the champions, you're not doing so bad. You've certainly competed with the champions.
The trouble is, Russ, my partner on the radio, is going for the Bradford Bulls. So whenever I talk about the London Broncos, he goes, "Oh no, I'm not as good as the Bradford Bulls." So as long as the Broncos win a few games, and today would be fantastic, the day that Richard's here again. So we've got our fingers crossed, and hopefully we'll cross everything. But I think Tony Curry wouldn't just be talking. I think he'd be yelling a bit, and now maybe talking and pleading.
Well, if they have anything like the support out there on the terraces as they've got in here in the studio, the Broncos have got no problems at all. Don't forget, you can have your say on the man of the match in this evening's game, London against St Helens. The man of the match number is there, and we will ask you to ring during the course of the second half, and the man of the match will win his own personalised copy of the Sky Sports programme tonight, plus a small television, a mini TV on which to watch it as well. And you can win one of these things also, because the Man of the Match Viewers Competition prize is the mini TV set. And we'll announce all the winners of the Man of the Match, and the name of the viewer who wins the telly a little bit later on in tonight's show.
Are we allowed to vote on that?
No, you've got no vote. You've got enough televisions in your
Won't be Martin of Fire.
OK, well, we've got a great second half to come. The London Broncos just trailing, but didn't they do well in the first half? And the champions showing that they are true championship material. 16-12. The St Helens side lead over the Broncos. We have the second half coming up for you right after these. Stay where you are.
This This is April on Sky. Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman, The Quick and the Dead.
Steven Seagal is under pressure in Under Siege 2.
From the director of Mrs. Doubtfire, Hugh Grant, Robin Williams, 9 months.
Ben Kingsley stars in the erotic sci-fi thriller Species.
He gave his life to his research. So did his family. The Young Poisoner's Handbook.
Houston, we have a problem. Oscar winner Tom Hanks in the blockbuster Apollo 13.
On Sky Sports, it's non-stop football with the Cup semi-final and the Cup final, plus England's World Cup qualifier.
Sky One continues to show first-run top-quality drama.
Really?
From the creator of L.A. Law.
I'm not pleading guilty.
The Practice.
Coming soon, Sandra Bullock in The Net.
Kathy Bates and Jennifer Jason Leigh in Stephen King's Dolores Claiborne.
Sandra Bullock and Bill Pullman while you were sleeping. Great entertainment from April on Sky.
With first-class rail travel between London and Gatwick, spacious leather seats, in-flight entertainment, and an a la carte menu, our new Premier Business Class was designed to satisfy our most demanding customer.
Well, it is my name on every plane.
From Gatwick to Miami, scheduled Premier Business Class. Flights daily, only £1,298 return, and Regency service from £255 return.
There aren't many certainties in life. Who'd have predicted the new shape me? But one thing you can be certain of is you don't have to pay tax on your investments. I made sure of that when I created the PEP.
If you'd invested in an M&G PEP 5 years ago, you'd have made an average of 16.9% a year, tax-free.
So if you want to lose pounds, why not try this slim volume? But if you hope to gain some, try a PEP.
Call 0800 210 210.
The new Renault Clio. It's moved on.
Let Fogarty's challenge begin.
Red light green.
Back with Ducati.
Just listen to that motor scream.
Back in the running.
Come on, Carl.
Back for the title.
Go for it now.
Live from Australia, round 1 of the World Superbike Championship next Sunday on Sky Sports 1.
Looking forward to it. So am I.
Welcome back to the Stoop. Coming up, we have Warrington Wolves against the London Broncos on the Super League for you on Friday at 7 o'clock on Sky Sports 1. Don't miss that. Right now, though, we have London Broncos against the Super League champions of '96, the Saints. And St Helens are just ahead as we approach the start of this second half. Super crowd in for the opening Super League match, and they have seen a fabulous drive from Anthony Sullivan, and they all seem to be enjoying what they are watching. The atmosphere is certainly building here at the Stoop. One of the tidiest grounds, I must say, and it will be a great pleasure to come back here during the course of this long, hot summer and see some of the Super League action here on Sky Sports. And the Broncos, with their supporters obviously in the stands and their coach at the back of the stand, hoping for more of the same. But it's a long time since we've seen Colin Welland, and I bet he is enjoying Super League here at the Stoop. Colin Welland, a great supporter of the game. We're underway in the second half. The Broncos just behind against the champions. A highly creditable display, though, against the side that won 9 of their 11 away games last year and began 1996 with a 12-match winning sequence. And at the moment, they are on course to start the new season by 16 points to 12 at half-time. They're on course to start the new season with a victory also.
Well, I feel that both coaches realise that this game could be won and lost within the first 15 minutes of the second half. I'm sure that Sean McRae would have said to his charges, look, we can't get down the middle because their defence is very strong. Their forwards are not making that impact. So I think we'll see a different style from the Saints. They'll try to get the ball out wide, and why not when you've got Alan Hunt and Paul Newlove in the centres?
What tremendous work from young fullback Steve Prescott there. England international. Picked up a difficult bouncing ball, had a wall of Broncos defenders around him, and tried to skirt around the outside. It was terrific play, this.
So much talent, so much speed too.
Steve-O, men like Richard Branson must be impressed with the, as Tony Mestrov goes off to be replaced by Russell Borton, with the athleticism and the courage and the spirit and the determination of these players.
Well, he's a man of adventure. He's certainly a man that has made an impact in the world of business.
Alan
A mistake
Hunt
again, yes.
Forward pass, I think.
And Morley knows that.
No, knock on.
He couldn't get hold of that football, so that is a mistake that will not impress the players, the fans, and especially the coach, Sean McRae. And we've seen in the first half how mistakes can just turn this match.
Terry Mattison in possession, so important to the Broncos' cause. Sean McRae, Coach of the Year last year. I think he knows deep down also, having talked to him on a number of occasions during the winter and indeed over this past weekend, that this is going to be a far different kettle of fish defending the championship rather than going out and winning it as he did last year.
Well, I think quite a few of the clubs have caught up with the Saints. It was pretty close last season. Just 1 point. That's how the Saints won it.
Josh White, little hole opens up for him. And White went through it, he thought, but it was a good job for St Helens that Chris Joint was there. They made 39 metres on this first set of 5. Gill gets the pass away, but straight into the arms of Cunningham.
Offside.
And he's ruled Cunningham offside. I thought that was a pass straight from the Bronco into the arms of Cunningham.
Well, he's evidently thought that it's come off a finger. Yes, I think it's come off Hammond's finger. So therefore, Cunningham was deemed to be offside. It was a fine call. From this point here, Hammond gets just a fingertip to it. Gonna be, oh yeah, just well spotted by the referee, Russell Smith. Now that could be a vital call.
Absolutely right. The referee, Russell Smith, right on top of that game there. And because it came off the St Helens player last, and the St Helens player made a deliberate attempt to get the ball. Cunningham offside. Penalty. Barwick bang in front, no problem. The gap narrows. 14-16. It's anybody's.
Well, I bow down to the referee, Russell Smith, on this occasion. Eagle eyes. Tremendous decision there. And that could sway the game. Only 2 points in between them now.
In Super League, the scoring team restarts. Barwick's kick-off deep. Underneath it, Paul Newlove. Well, it's a rough, tough game, is Super League. And, of course, the boxing world is a rough, tough game also. We have the WBO Super Middleweight Champion with us. It's not Alistair Mann, it's Steve Collins, and he's talking to Alistair.
Steve, your first look at rugby league, I believe. How are you enjoying your experience?
Well, it's my first live rugby league game, and I must say I thought London were very unlucky to be 4 points down after the first half. You know, St Helens are a much bigger team, but London had a better team today, but they're back up. It's only 2 points in the difference, and hopefully they pull it out of the bag and win.
Clearly, the first time you've experienced it in the flesh. Is it faster, perhaps, than you perhaps imagined?
Yes, it's much faster than I expected. I went to see a great Union game 2 weeks ago. I've seen Bedford play, but the league is definitely a much faster game, much easier to follow, and it's very exciting. And I can see why it's taken off so well. And I mean, there's also a great crowd here tonight, and I know why they're here, because they're enjoying it like I am.
A lot of good physical specimens running around. I think your admiration of the combination of both the physique and the speed.
Yeah, well, definitely. Well, I must say St Helens are a bigger team, but it doesn't seem to make a difference. But the comparison to boxing, I think I'll stay in the ring, because in the boxing ring, when you hit the deck in the boxing ring, you don't have half a dozen guys jumping on you. So I think I'll stick to my own game.
Thanks a lot.
Steve Collins, world boxing champion, impressed by Super League, as we all are. High hanging kick. This could be dangerous. Not anymore. The danger is quelled by Peter Gill.
Well, that's the first time we've seen the bomb in this match, and you can see that the fullback, Tony Martin, was not in a great position. He was on his way down when he should have been going up. They were lucky to get away with that. Referee Russell Smith deeming that he didn't get a fingertip to it. That would have meant that Gill would have been offside. Another fine decision by the referee in charge tonight. I must say has handled things well.
Russell Borden tips the ball back, but the referee has a look at the touch judge who says that was a knock on. Robbie Beasley was away, he thought.
Well, I think he gave himself up. Yeah, he sort of just hesitated and looked at the referee, but it was enough. Definitely a knock on. Well, you certainly can't blame the man with the whistle tonight, for he has really been in control.
Chris Morley comes off, and Ian Pickavance is the man who goes on. Pickavance, so often a substitute last season, starting this year in the same vein. That was good play by Newlove. He gets the pass away to Sullivan. Sullivan, such an elusive character. Eventually he disappears under the three challengers from London, and they laid on him too long. Sullivan was trying to get to his feet.
Gill complaining that he said that Sullivan was holding him down, but you can see that both arms were well and truly on the ground. Referee not going to be conned by that. Vital time now. St Helens perhaps will charge to the left-hand side with the forwards and do the link.
And this is Julian O'Neill, the 21-year-old Kiwi prop forward. First tackle gone. Cunningham, the dummy half, sweeps it into the arms of Tommy Martin. Martin, not the best pass, but Perolini made it a good ball. And was that forward?
It was. Well, they're losing the plot somewhat, and Perolini knows it too. Trying to force a pass when there's heavy traffic around. It's a big hit by Mattison, and you can see it was just a little bit in front. And so early in the tackle count. Another bad mistake by the Saints. This will give head and feed now to the Broncos.
Here's Tolson Tollett. Good defence from Prescott. The St Helens fullback had moved up at that scrum. This is Barwick. Handling errors, just 9 of them. Saints have made 1 more. Josh White to Russell Borden. Borden one-handed gets the pass away to Rosalind.
Quick play, the ball is needed now. Try to get the ball out wide. Saints are slow to get back.
Josh White supported the man in possession. This is Martin. 39 metres made, 4 tackles gone. Peter Gill, more metres from Gill. He gets a good pass away as well. 52 metres made. Beasley played the ball. Mattison with the little kick into the in-goal area. Race on here, a fire was hunting again. Prescott did well. Prescott does brilliantly well. Fantastic from the full-back.
Amazing stuff. He threw caution to the wind, threw a wonderful step. That was just outstanding. There's no other word for it. Under a lot of pressure, and came up with the goods.
This is Tommy Martin taking them on. That was a great break from Prescott. Now Sullivan, he's got space outside again of Roskill, but that's better defence. Paul Smith shuttled across and cut the St Helens winger down. Joint the dummy half to Breers, to Cunningham. He opens it on to Martin. Martin misses out. Pickavance finds Hammond. Hammond then gets the ball into the arms of Hunt. Hunt is tackled by Greg Barwick. Hunt saying he wants to get on with it. Perolini. Great comment, I thought, from Steve Collins. He says in the boxing ring, when you hit the deck, you stay there. You don't get 6 others on top of you. He must be impressed by this. We all are. It's been a great start to Super League, but unfortunately for St Helens, Joint dropped the ball, and Paul Smith is injured there, I think.
Well, another mistake there. The second row, Chris Joint had that in his grasp.
Paul Smith is groggy. He's down. will need attention. He only passed a late fitness test to play in this match.
Hello.
Now Peter Gill disappears midway inside his own half of the field under the challenges of 3 St Helens defenders. Here's Matt Dunford. Manages to get the pass away under extreme pressure to Tony Martin. And it was well watched by Danny Arnold. Collared by Kieran Cunningham was Josh White. Matheson quick play the ball. Tollett on the outside of the boot. Tollett is the man who's chasing. Prescott is there. It's a good kick. Can Prescott get out of trouble again? Oh, he's done them again. Back in the field of play, Steve Prescott.
Well, if they finish up winning tonight, the man they should buy a couple of beers for. But that's great defence. That really shows the team spirit that's here at the London Broncos. Russell Borden, the strength. Let's get him over. And that's what he's done. So possession will come back to the London Broncos with a dropout from underneath the sticks.
Paul Smith is badly hurt. He limps his way off. And David Krause, who is no mean player himself, has come on. Terry Matheson.
There's the injury. You could see Newlove went quite high. That was after Joint dropped the football.
Well, Krause, the man who is on the field, made his debut against St Helens at the Valley last year. And he had a big influence on what was an outstanding contest between these two, and they're producing another great game here tonight. There is Krause, his first touch, all wrapped up this time by Newlove and Sullivan.
Good solid tackle by Newlove. You could see Newlove complaining to the touch judge, saying he was held back.
Dunford, intercept by Cunningham. Cunningham almost away, brushes Tollett off. And it was a good job that the defence shuttled back.
Oh, he took a huge gamble, did the Saints hooker there. If he'd have missed that and the ball had gone out wide, there was a huge gap. Fingertip control by Kieran Cunningham. It had to be 2. He took a big gamble.
Julian O'Neill plays the ball to Cunningham. He finds Pickavance, second half substitute for St Helens. Cunningham in at dummy half again. That was Breers. This is Martin. Saw a gap. He's dabbed it over the top. It's bounced kindly for Arnold. And Arnold gets the try. What a cruel bounce for young Tony Martin. But credit St Helens. They had men in numbers up there. And Danny Arnold picked the ball up off the ground and scooted in.
Sometimes the reward comes for those who are brave. Tommy Martin, a chip over the top. The Broncos having no sweeper. They had to rely on the fullback so close to the defensive line. This is the intercept that put them in that position. It perhaps could have been try time for the Broncos. Cunningham took the gamble. It was not the best play of the ball, but what a super kick over. And what an awful bounce. The rugby league football is prone to do anything when it hits the ground. It did on that occasion. And that man, Danny Arnold, what a relief for the Saints bench. What a relief for the side. But full credit, though, to the man that kicked it, Tommy Martin. He took the gamble. It paid off.
Lee Breers now with a 50% success rate. Danny Arnold's try. Remember the start he had to last season. He scored in 5 consecutive matches at the start of '96. He started well again here. Breers. No problems. 22 points to 14.
There you see the fullback coming through and the ball goes back on the inside. It was an awful bounce. He did everything right. He got across, he had the speed, but Arnold was there to pick up the 4. Well, this is the intercept. He took the gamble, and you could see just on the left-hand side that a man was going through. The Bronco perhaps would have gone underneath the sticks. Well, how many twists and turns will be seen this game?
Well, the kick-off from Tommy Martin has just sailed out on the full, so it's a penalty to the Broncos on the halfway line. Tony Mestrov has returned, number 10 there. He just went out of your picture. He has come back on for Russell Borden. Confirmation of that change by Tony Curry. Josh Wegg disappears underneath 3.
We haven't seen much kicking game from the Broncos in regards to the bomb. We've seen the neat little chip over from Terry Madison that created the try. But maybe they may be better served to get this ball high. Give a little pressure to Steve Prescott.
Lovely ball from Gill, dragging Rosalind back on the inside. Robbie Beasley, not the best pass. Mattison almost overran it, and that's not a good pass either to Peter Gill. And they've coughed up the possession again, and Danny Arnold, he accepted one gift the other end. He nearly was away then again.
Well, things are not going right for the Broncos. You could see that it wasn't the best little flick on there by the second rower Gill. There was no power behind it. And to make matters worse, there was interference at the play. The ball is all over the top. You can see that they're pushing a man down. When you've made the tackle, you're supposed to clear the area. So more pressure for the Broncos.
And the St Helens bench has made a change. Julian O'Neill has gone off, and Andy Northey has come on. This is Chris Joynt. Suddenly the champions have got a spring in their step. They know that at the moment things aren't going right for the Broncos, but they're going very right for them. And Tony Curry, a drink just to calm the nerves. Perolini, nowhere to go.
This is where Saints will close it down a little bit now. They'll build on this, who was pretty high from Barwick. And it's been seen as well by the referee, Russell Smith. Barwick said, I got him on the chest. Well, they must have a pair of dentures somewhere around his chest mark, because you can see that he made impact well and truly in the mouth area. Here it comes. Hit the shoulder first. That's what he's claiming for. But it's a bit like opening the door of the bank and then putting the revolver over the counter, isn't it?
Well, I'll ask you to explain that shortly.
Sometimes I wonder about you, Eduardo.
You've got everyone confused. This is Tommy Martin. He's not confused. He was almost over for another St Helens try. They just managed to hold him up. These are desperate moments for the Broncos. Sullivan, he's been forced out of the field of play. Good defence in the end, but desperate defence.
Was it ever? Scott Roskill had enough weight to make sure that the winger went into touch. Well, it's desperate times on both sides. Some of the cover tackling from both these sides have really been remarkable. They're putting their body well and truly on the line. Super fast and super fit men.
But in that first intercept, Hammond goes round under the posts. His second. Broncos appeal that maybe Hammond was offside. Russell Smith will have none of it. And Russell Smith has given Hammond the try. And that could be curtains for the Broncos. An intercept and a gift again.
There's an old saying, you never turn your back to the opposition while you're passing the football. And Tulson Tollett did exactly that. I'm afraid it's schoolboy stuff. You'll see him turn away. And the man was not squared on. He's got away with it there. Well, controversy will reign here. Hammond was not square at the marker position, but got away with it. But it does not take away the fact that the standoff, Tulson Tollett made a real meal of this. Krause was lapping around on the blind side. What a bitter blow.
Well, they have given St Helens a few early Easter presents, haven't they, here? Carl Hammond with his second try right in front of the posts, and Lee Breers, 3 from 5, is about to make it 4 from 6 and increase the St Helens lead. Increase the lead he does. 28 points to 14. Controversy here.
Well, you can see quite clearly the X marks the spot, and there's Hammond with the arrow, and he is not squared on. He's got away with it. Good anticipation. Let's not take it away from him. But what on earth was the standoff Tolson Tollett thinking of? It's a pretty big hill to climb now, but they do have the character, the Broncos, to come back. They certainly will not throw the towel in.
This is Peter Gill. And he's trying to get the penalty off Russell Smith, and does. Tried to get to his feet, and Perolini just shakes his head.
All over him is a big prop forward, Perolini. And the Broncos have made sure that it went into touch. They've got to be desperate now to get points on the board. They've got to be a little bit more adventurous. They've got to take more risks.
Well,
not like the one that Tollett did.
Now is your chance to vote for the man of the match in this match. 0891 66 55 25. Let us have your view, and if you agree with the overwhelming number of votes, you could win yourself a mini TV set. That's the phone number to ring. Ring in now. We're waiting for your calls.
Well, was this ball reefed out? They're claiming that Dunford lost control of it, but it appeared to be quite a few fingertips involved with that.
0891 66 55 25 for the man of the match vote. The lines are now open, and we're waiting for your call. Here's Chris Joint. Good tackle by Gill.
That's the only one I'll chalk so far.
This now is Andy Northey again. He takes the Saints over the halfway line. Cunningham is the dummy half, and that's Ian Pickavants. Does well, gets the pass away. Breers, who was all wrapped up by Tollett on that occasion. Here's Cunningham. Now Pickavants again. 63 minutes gone. The Broncos have 17 minutes left to rescue this match. There's a midfield bomb from Tommy Martin. He was under pressure from Krause. The ball's come free. The referee, though, says that the young fullback was taken out. No try.
Well, they knew from the previous kick that the fullback, Tony Martin, was all at sea. And I'm afraid on this occasion he was not given the opportunity to have a clear catch. You see, he was interfered with. It was a difficult night for the youngster Tony Martin. We mentioned he made a real meal of the one previous, but he was definitely hindered from making any attempt to collect that football. You see it. Not allowed to touch the man at all if you come from an onside position, and he did. He came from behind the kicker. If you're in front of the kicker, you must give him 10 metres.
The ball was stolen in a two-man tackle. Penalty Broncos.
Well, I can't imagine what was going through the mind of Tommy Martin there with a 28-14 lead. That's the last thing you want to do. You could see quite clearly that there was another tackler in attendance.
And what's more, he back-chatted, he disputed the decision, and so they were marched back 10 more metres, so that's cheap yards for the Broncos.
Well, we saw all through last season, Eddie, that
Matheson!
Just saying that Saints, their discipline was so excellent last year.
Tollett now. Broncos looking for something here. They desperately need a try. That's Rosalind.
Come on, release. Well, we haven't seen Terry Matheson running the angles. Maybe we'll see it on this occasion.
Josh White. Despairing shout from the crowd. Come on, London. Beasley into the arms of Tollett. This now is Gill. Back on the inside to Tony Martin.
Well, the idea was there. You could see Gill running towards the touchline, but the full-back had come up too early.
This is the last one for the Broncos. Crossfield kick looking for the speed of a fire again. Hunt just sails up into the air, diffuses the bomb, and is in own in goal. Would be brought back now to the 20-metre mark.
Tremendous play here. You could see not only the full-back, Steve Prescott, was in attendance, but quick thinking there by the big centre, Alan Hunt. He's had a fine game. It's not all about the centres and three-quarters going forward.
Some more messages being passed down to the touchline because Vila Matautia is about to come into the fray for St Helens. The big forward. Tony Curry is a worried man on the London Broncos bench.
Good move by Sean McRae, the Saints coach, to bring on the big fella. He'll certainly have fresh legs like this one.
Pickavant's doing well. 44 metres they've made in 4 tackles, St Helens. They'll make a few more, maybe now with New Love they will. New Love bouncing off the challenges. Hammond's there, and Hammond is that far away from a hat-trick. Great run from New Love. Last tackle here. So close. Pickavant's. The Broncos defence stands firm. It's the turnover.
Well, they run the power play there, but I think that the substitute Ian Pickavant's took the wrong option. Way out on the wing, Sullivan was screaming for the football.
But
that was high. Surely they've got to pick that up.
He has.
Carl Hammond. Well, this could be interesting. That really was on the target. We can do without that. They've got a commanding lead, and that is a malicious tackle. Attacking straight to the head, and Tollett would have felt that.
Carl Hammond and Tulson Tollett were mates on the 1996 Lions tour not long ago.
Well, I think he's a lucky boy not to be reported for that situation. There's been quite a few head-eyes in this game.
That's a great tackle, though, on Mestrov from Tommy Martin. And Mestrov didn't like it, just swung I was going to say a fist, but I'll use a slap maybe at Martin's direction. Peter Gill.
Well, we've seen the old stages. Gill and Terry Mattison try to break through this defence. The Saints' defence has got a little bit tighter in the second half.
Tollett to Barwick. Barwick popped the ball up again, and Arnold accepts another gift. What on earth are the Broncos up to here?
Well, they know they're running out of time. They've got to run the risk. They're the team that's having to do the catch-up football.
They've presented the ball, though, Steve-O, on far too many occasions to St Helens, haven't they?
Well, it won't impress their coach, and I'm sure that the fans are a little bit disappointed with it all, but they're in a period of the game where they've just got to take this gamble. Everything that they've tried at the training ground, they've got to produce now. Big question, can they get possession? Because I'm sure that Saints will just run it out and make sure they get the kick deep so that they get the ball back, perhaps from the dropout from underneath the sticks.
Drop goal attempt there from Breers, but it went the wrong side of the posts. Are you impressed, Steve-O, with the champions and this first defence?
I would say it's a bit of a stop-start affair, and I'm sure that their coach would feel the same way, and the players. The big difference has been, and unfortunately the Broncos couldn't really turn it their way, is the fact that the St Helens pack, which is massive, they led the way last season, and they have not been as positive tonight. He knows it too.
Josh White. Chris Joint collared him. David Krause, that's a good strong run. And again, he brushed away Perolini of all people then, but he couldn't get away from Kieran Cunningham. Mattison, support is there from Rosalind. He turned in the tackle, looked for more support. It wasn't forthcoming. Robbie Beasley, dummy half, finds Josh White. Josh White for Roskell to chase. The winger, and the winger will get the try. Roskell gets the try for the Broncos that gives them hope. It was a lovely chip over the top again that had the St Helens defence undone out wide. Both wingers have grabbed one in those circumstances now.
Beautiful play. He came up trumps in the first half, little half-back, Josh White. Perfect bounce there. Good run by the winger, Scott Roskell. No one was at home. Prescott knew that he was beaten for speed. And for once, the St Helens defence, they held back. You could see Tommy Martin did not really commit himself. The winger, Anthony Sullivan, had gone in just a little bit too much. I must say, Roskell went very close there.
And what a kick from Barwick to add the extra two just when it was needed. He wasn't hanging around. He knows time's against the Broncos, but now the gap is just 8 points, and this match isn't over yet.
There you see the defence, they held back. They didn't move forward, didn't apply any pressure to the half-back wise, but that is a well-taken try, but he went very close. Here at the Stoop, it's the first line. It is the in-goal line, not the second one. And he must have been only inches away.
Time for St Helens then now to show us their mettle. Oh, they lost his footing. Referee Russell Smith says play on. Maybe he was looking for the penalty. This is Perolini. We've 9 minutes left to play, and 8 points is the gap. Pickavance gets away from the tackle from Dunford, plays the ball. This is Cunningham, something he did so well last year. Cunningham, great run from Cunningham. Good tackle in the end, came in from Robbie Beasley, his opposite number. And Martin will drill the ball all along the ground and into touch.
Quick thinking by Tommy Martin. He's had a fine game, he's controlled things, but he knows it's been a little bit uncomfortable at times. He's used to playing behind a pack that is going forward and making mincemeat of the defence.
Wonder if Tommy Martin has caught your eye as the man of the match. If he has, vote now on 0891 66 55 25. Man of the match goes home with a commemorative video recording of his performance, plus the mini television, and you too can win a mini television. One of our viewers tonight, if your name comes out and corresponds with the choice of the man of the match. It was nearly another interception then by Tommy Martin. Peter Gill got the ball to Greg Barwick, but Martin was sniffing another chance. This is Krause. He's been pretty quiet since he came on, David Krause. That's 4 tackles gone. They've only made 17 metres. It's great defence from the champions.
Well, they came up with a try with the kick and chase game. Maybe on this occasion, a kick towards Martin Fire's wing. No, they're going for the different option. That is not a good kick.
It sat up perfectly for Breers. This is Prescott. He too has had a fine game, and Prescott gets the pass away to Arnold. Danny Arnold is trapped by Josh White. St Helens just getting caught. Here's Alan Hunt. Oh!
He's been one of the stars too. But I have to say I've been impressed with the fullback, Steve Prescott. There was a period there where the Broncos were really putting the pressure on. And on 2 occasions, Steve Prescott came from within the in-goal area, brought it back out onto the field of play. Vital possession for the Saints at a time when they were looking a bit wobbly.
This is Cunningham. He gets the pass away to Hammond, and Hammond crosses the halfway line. Just loses his footing. Steve Prescott playing tonight his 100th game for St Helens. And a fine match too, the fullback. Perolini! Almost danced his way through the tacklers.
Surely they'll opt for the kick deep, and they do.
Again, Martin goes for the touchline, finds it. Tommy Martin kicked really well all night. And nearly 7,000 here at the Stoop for the visit of the champions. That's a great start for London at their new home. Great start for Super League this weekend. We had the big crowd at Odsal, and we've had good crowds as well throughout the country today, and we'll give you all the other results at full time. And there's been some amazing scorelines. Terry Matheson is coming off the field. And he is replaced by Roger Best. So fresh legs for the last 5 3/4 minutes. And there is Best. How's that for a first touch?
Tremendous tackle by Tommy Martin. Just whipped his legs away.
Brilliantly picked up.
What a great take.
Steve Rosalind. It was round by his bootlaces.
Fraction off the floor. Oh.
Now Robbie Beasley scuttling away, trying to make yards. Gill is there. Gill's still there. He is a fire, and he's hauled down. That's high by Alan Hunt.
Well, what on earth was Hunt thinking there?
Martin Afire, to his credit, is up on his feet. He hasn't made anything of this.
Slipped off the shoulder. The only thing you can say is that Hunt certainly didn't swing the arm, but he did pull the man's face back. The crowd have gone berserk out there. There's only 8 points of difference. There's still plenty of time.
Martin Afire went down under the challenge from Alan Hunt, but to his credit, he bounced straight back up off the field when there was pushing and shoving going on all round him.
Wasn't a swinging arm. He grabbed, and then you'll see that he pulls the face. Of course, the momentum of Martin Offiah going through. Bit of the old pub sign swinging in the wind sort of thing. But why on earth they do things like that when they should be slowing the game down, closing it down? Is there a chance? Quick try here, anything could happen.
Well, that is the accurate time that you can see there. They have 4.5 minutes to go, and here's a chance for Roger Best. He's in. The substitutes come up with a vital try, and the fat is in the fire now. Roger Best only just on, but he had the strength to take him all the way to the line.
Tremendous work on the blind side. Gill slipped it back. He's been switching the ball back all night. He did well to ground this ball. You can see him twist as the defence comes to him. But the substitute did well. He fended across. Prescott did everything, but he just had chance with the left arm. But watch the skills of Gill. To the little dummy. You can see that Parolini was too slow to close the gap. The cat is well and truly amongst the pigeons.
Sure is. Roger Best with the try. Barwick, he kicked one from this side not long ago. He needs to kick this one now. He's missed it. So the gap is 4 points. Converted try would do for London, and St Helens know that the gap now is only 4 points.
Now then, will the Broncos go for the option of going short? They are. They're trying to get possession. It's vital for them.
Chris Joint went up like a salmon.
What a take from the skipper. If ever there was a time where the captain, fantastic, had to come to the fore, this was it. Aka, Aussie rules there. That was tremendous.
3 minutes to go. 4 points the gap. A terrific game. We've had two fabulous occasions in Super League this opening weekend on Sky Sports, and plenty more to come over the next 8 months, believe me. 24-28.
Well, we said that this Bronco side would not throw the towel in, and they have not. It's been a tremendous performance. But Saints will be looking at themselves very closely over the fact they've given away silly penalties at vital times. That's far too long.
That's run dead in goal, so
Martin really should have opted to go for the touch, because the seconds would eat away at the scrum. Now then, the substitutes come on, is it? No. The trainer's on the paddock. The crowd don't like it.
Offside, moving off the mark. Tommy Martin with a shake of the head.
This has to be the last throw of the dice. You can see on that occasion Russell Smith didn't miss it.
No, he's not.
Oh, dearie me, what on earth are they doing? I just can't believe that. You can see the despair on all the London Broncos' faces. They did it early in the game. Oh, he cannot believe it, the coach, Tony Kerry. Neither can I.
Well, they've gifted a few, haven't they?
Instead of applying the pressure, they've got to defend. It's up the jumper time now for Saints.
Well, they've gifted a few, the Broncos, to the champions. And St Helens have gratefully accepted those gifts. Cunningham gets the pass away to Martin. Entering the last minute.
He'll take his time. So will this guy, Hammond. He knows the advantage of keeping possession.
That's the turnover, caught on the last tackle. Hammond, I think, miscounted. Right, last minute. And the Broncos know they've got to come up with something special. Barwick. Tremendous play from Barwick.
Quick play the ball, that's what's needed. Oh, and Barwick's got cramp. He can't get up there. Look at him, his agony.
Oh, Gill, it bounced to Tony Martin. Krause out wide to Roskill. Crowd on their feet, roaring the Broncos home. Half a minute to go. Beasley the dummy half. This is Josh White. Beasley again. Look at the terrier-like defence from St Helens. Their coach Sean McRae biting his fingernails. Offiah tackled by Newlove.
They've got to go for the bomb if they don't get through on this occasion.
It's Roger Best again, back to Tollett. Tollett picked out by Newlove. Great defence from St Helens.
It's got to be high and into the corner.
5 seconds, 3 seconds to go. A chip over the top from Josh White. Underneath it was Lee Breers. And there's the siren. St Helens have won. Tony Curry knows that this is a match perhaps London Broncos should have come out on top in, but the champions have shown true mettle. The Broncos have gifted them a couple of tries, and the champions, St Helens, have come up with an opening day win. But what a game the Broncos gave them, and it will do them no harm at all in this part of the world. 24-28, again, just 4 points separating these two sides. We had 3 magnificent contests last year, and St Helens and the Broncos have set the pattern for 1997. Perolini shaking hands, his face wreathed in smiles, because the St Helens team, I think, know that they have got off the hook here at the Stoop. London 24, St Helens 28. The champions have won their first match. Man of the match will give you the details of who he is next.
A preview of the Kleenex for Men Tissues movie presentation. Once a generation,
We're fighting for the fate of the world.
there is a tournament.
Let Mortal Kombat begin.
Is it time?
Really? We've let these humans win enough. Stand and fight. Finish him quick. You're a coward.
You played the game.
I challenge you. Good luck.
Now experience the movie. Christopher Lambert.
I don't face.
Mortal Kombat, tonight at 10 on the Movie Channel.
Some people spend hours on the internet. Others are hooked on fishing. But at Friends Provident, what interests us is growing money. So if you're looking for some serious growth, get on the blue line direct to Friends Provident now. Call 0800 00 0080. With as little as £30 a month, you can sort out a flexible, easy-to-run savings plan with real growth prospects. If you want the future to look a bit more rosy, get on the blue line now. Call 0800 00 0080.
To relax, call 0990 200 200.
Be a beauty. Be a beast. Just be.
CKB, the fragrance for people. Calvin Klein.
He who signs his name on the back of a goldfish will find his journey an easy one.
The Goldfish credit card, accepted from Asda and Boots to the Casbah in Cairo.
A new wave of freshness is coming with new Jif Mousse Pacific Wave. Just spray and rinse for a brilliant shine and a pure fresh smell. New Jif Mousse Pacific Wave.
Fly Singapore Airlines to Australia with packages starting from an amazing £699. Phone 0345 02 2000 now.
I want to move banks, but I don't want to spend forever waiting for my new checkbook, card and PIN number to turn up.
When is St. Patrick's Day?
Next Monday, I think. 17th, March the 17th.
When will you be celebrating?
Friday night, Saturday night.
Sunday.
Oh, well, we can.
Any night.
In about half an hour.
Glory, hallelujah, just hold the hard time. Hey, target.
Right now. Okay, let's go.
Get on the blue line now. Call 0800 00 0080 and talk to Friends Provident about making your money grow.
Well, coming up on Sky Sports 1 next Sunday at 6:30, Castleford against Wigan. Castleford against Wigan from Weldon Road next Sunday. Right now, though, we are going to look back on a tremendous tussle between the London Broncos and the champions St Helens, which St Helens have won by 28 points to 24. A Firegill, Roskill best. Barwick 4 goals for London, 2 from Hammond, Sullivan, Hunt and Arnold. The goals from Lee Breers. Nearly 7,000 here, and they could only have been entertained by what was a fabulous game. Now then, man of the match, your view. Steve Prescott, 32%. Alan Hunt, 28%. Tommy Martin, 10%. The others, 30%. So it was a pretty split vote, wasn't it? Would have been a hung parliament if it was a general election, but Steve Prescott gets the nod. He's the man of the match. Some tremendous runs tonight, and he's now talking to Alistair.
Well, Steve Prescott, you've been named man of the match by the viewers. First and foremost, congratulations. A commemorative video for you and a mini television. Is it as much a matter of celebration or relief, this one?
I don't know. We worked hard for it. We knew it was going to be a tough game. We always are. The Broncos are home. Anybody's going to struggle here. You're going to have to produce a good performance to win here anyway. So we're just all glad and relieved that we've got the win anyway.
Clearly, it's one of those games where London had the momentum quite often, and you got the breaks at the right time, didn't you?
Yeah, but we just stuck in there. Set to 6 was important, driving the ball up, and we just knew if we just keep to our game plan that we'd have a chance of winning.
I suppose now you've got this one out of the way, your message to everyone else who comes down here is it's going to be tough, isn't it?
Oh no, everybody's up to beat us, so I don't know. Everybody's going to raise the game to play St Helens because we're the champions. We took over from Wigan last year, so everybody's going to be wanting to beat the champions, aren't they, as if they say.
But once again, you've come through a challenge, and London seem to be almost the bogey side for you. They push you all the way every time, don't they?
Yeah, well, they've got a good coach, got a good set of lads, so it's always going, like I said before, it's going to be a hard game coming down anywhere, really. They're Australians, they're big on defence, so they're going to be pushing everybody.
Well, the first hurdle out of the way, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Steve Prescott, the man of the match, and the viewer who has successfully named him, and her name came out first, lives in Jersey. It's good to have you with us on Super League Live, and Cheryl Chadwick, we will get the mini TV on the way to you in this next week or so. Congratulations. Congratulations also to Steve Prescott. Well, I wonder what the London Broncos made of all that, because it was a fantastic effort from them. It really was. And their coach, Tony Curry, looked a fairly disappointed young man when we picked him up in the ground just at the end of the match. There he is now, close to tears, I think. Tony Curry is with Alistair.
Tony, is it any consolation that once again you've pushed them right to the death?
No consolation, believe me. I think tonight we self-destructed big time. And I've just given them a bawling out in the dressing sheds, and when you take into effect that we didn't kick out on 2 penalties, and you know, it's just Terry Madison had a poor kick for touch, and at training Greg Barwick is the kicker. So, you know, we're not even a good club yet or a good team to get over those little hurdles, and that's the things I'll be working on. I told them that it would come down to who does the little things better, and you know, it's just upsetting that in the long run we have to work really hard for our points, and then we seem to self-destruct and give them 4 points on a platter.
Is that the most frustrating thing? Because you could have beaten them without maybe 1 or 2 of those unforced errors.
Oh, yeah, definitely we could have beaten them. Look, I tell you now, Saints know that when they play the Broncos, they're going to be in for a torrid time. It's up to me now to get the guys up for next week. But look, I'll be working on those unforced errors, and it's just the way this club has gone over the years. I mean, we haven't got the money to buy big-name internationals, and Martin has been our big buy over the years. But look, we've just got to get a better quality type of player to come through, and hopefully we can strengthen the squad in the next couple of weeks, and we'll be a different force, believe me.
There was a period in that first half where you were very much in control. Did you feel that way?
Absolutely. I felt that we were controlling the sets. But look, I can't take anything away from St Helens. They're the champions, mate. And honest to God, when we gave them the pressure, they absorbed it, and they came back and they took their opportunities and really spanked our bums, I'll tell you.
Well, thanks very much. And again, commiserations, but great entertainment.
Great entertainment, believe me.
Yes, it certainly was great entertainment. Well done, Tony Curry. I think there he was just biting his tongue a little bit, because he's obviously a very disappointed coach. Let's take a look at the statistics, Steve-O, from all this. Scrums, well, penalties. London had 14 to St Helens 6, and possession?
Well, the possession says it all. They should have done better with it, shouldn't they? They really had control of this game. There's a power play, kicks in play. Full credit to St Helens. They worked hard at it. But I think the one thing that that came out of it all is that Kerry said that they'd made too many unforced errors, and they can't do that.
Look at the tackling from both the sides. Almost 200 tackles on each team.
Well, that didn't surprise me. I mean, the pressure now, the game is played at such speed. But there you see the missed tackles, a lot of clean breaks, so the opportunities are there. But look right at the bottom, handling errors. Only 9, but they really did put themselves under pressure. But the most important was the 2 kicks that did not go into touch when you got the penalty. You just can't afford to do that.
Well, you can't.
Simple mistakes that make coaching a nightmare.
Well, they will look back, the Broncos, won't they, on the mistakes that they have made, because they've come up with some awful blunders tonight.
Yes, of course, and but let's not take anything away from St. Helens. There was a period where the Broncos looked as though they were getting back into the game early in that second half. They got off to a good start, and you've got to point the finger at the fullback of St. Helens. He really pulled him out of the fire on a couple of occasions when really he could have done the option of kicking the ball. I mean, this is just superb skills. He had a tremendous game, and it doesn't surprise me that the viewers selected this guy for the man of the match. I mean, it was just tremendous effort, determination, and that's what's going on to this situation. But this was a real big turning point. This could have been a try for the Broncos. Cunningham took an almighty gamble, and from this position, they got themselves in a play like this. Beautiful kick by Tommy Martin. We've said many times how rugby league football can be cruel. The ball will bounce anywhere. You have to feel sorry for the fullback Tony Martin, who was in a good position, but the ball just take away. It was just a problem for him. It was a seesawing game. Tremendous entertainment.
Well, when you think of that one, when you think of the interception try, you think of the Martin of Fire mistake, Tony Curry he'll feel like slashing his wrists tonight, won't he?
I think when Tony Curry and the rest of the Broncos players watched the video replay on this, I think it's quite controversial, the try that Hammond got. I mean, it was an absolute disgrace that a man of the talent of Tullett that give the situation. I mean, you never pass the football when you've got your back to the opposition. But in my opinion, you can see there, let's just take, there he is. Now, he should be stood in that position. Now, it's quite clearly, to me, but not according to the referee. Now, he's played the ball, and off he goes. Now, he looks to be half a yard, but why on earth the standoff? I mean, this kid is a Great Britain international. You never turn your back to the opposition. Full credit, though, Tullett to get... I mean, it was just so stupid to be able to do a situation like that. I can't believe that what went through his head. We saw the mistake from Martin of Fire in the first half. These are the things that Tony Curry will be working on. He will be fuming on it, because these are top-class professionals. You shouldn't do that.
Well, let's take a look at the other results from Super League today. Remember the end of the first weekend of the competition, and hasn't it been tremendous? Bradford 58, Warrington 20 on Friday. London 24, St Helens 28 here. Leeds 32, Oldham 22. Salford, the new boys, 4, Castleford 0. Sheffield 4, Paris 18. And Wigan 20, Halifax 18, and Halifax, from all accounts, missed a penalty in the last minute. John Schuster, almost in front, but a good way back. He missed the kick, otherwise it would have been a draw. What a weekend, a great start, and more to come. We will look back on it all in the world of Super League on Wednesday, 8 o'clock, the usual time. It's an earlier time compared to your listings locally. 8 o'clock, usual time for World of Super League, Wednesday, Sky Sports 1. Friday, Warrington against the London Broncos. That'll be a battle royal. Two sides looking for their first win of the season. We have the first semi-final, Saints against Salford in the Challenge Cup on Saturday. And breathlessly, we'll be at Castleford against Wigan next Sunday at 6:30. Start of a wonderful 8 months that lie ahead of us. It's been fantastic. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Sky Sports' absolute make or break. At stake, England's place in the World Cup finals. They need the ultimate result against Georgia. Pressure mounts on the European tour with sights on the Ryder Cup. And Bath, Leicester and Wasps head for a showdown. Cup victory or knockout, a crucial month in the tournament's final outcome. Momentum continues at home with the launch of the English cricket season. Full-on impact, World League of American Football. Davis cues up the trick shot championships and Henman battles for Britain. Pounding away the heart of the title race, London rivals Chelsea versus Arsenal and crunch match Liverpool versus United. Pushing the limits, April on Sky Sports.
You're late, you're late, you're late, you're late.
With BT, how much is a 5-minute call to Australia this weekend?
About £5.
£6.50. £4.
Or £5. £2.50.
About £5.
£3, £4.
The actual cost is just £1.99 or £1.49 with BT's Friends and Family and Premier Line discount packages.
That's fantastic.
Can't believe it, it's the cheapest that.
That's very good value, that.
Spot on.
You're joking. Couldn't get much lower than that.
I'm on the phone.
BT's discount packages could save you even more. Call free phone 0800 800 060.
The king desires peace.
That I should become Judas.
Peace.